Hi guys, well I've recovered from my humiliation at the hands of Lewis, and it got me thinking, elastic bands, what do they always say with them? Whenever you find them, they always tell you to be careful of people's eyes. And when I was looking around for the elastic band, I found these, my old squash goggles, which I never actually wore, but I got them out, and it reminds me, in a very roundabout way, of my favourite character in the Bible, or at least one of them. And he's a blind man in John chapter 9 that Jesus healed. And I love him for so many reasons. Basically, he was blind, Jesus saw him and he healed him. But the Pharisees, the religious rulers, they weren't happy about that at all because he did it on the Sabbath. So they found the blind man and they were like, what happened? And they wanted the blind man basically to say Jesus was bad. And the blind man just said, I'm not going to say something that's not true. I don't know anything about him, but I was blind and he healed me. And that can't be a bad thing. And the Pharisees were furious with him. It's really worth reading because it's amazing, their conversation. But as a result, because the blind man wouldn't say that Jesus was bad, they kicked him out of the synagogue. And that was basically their central community place. It's like being kicked out of school or your family or wherever it is you hang out with your friends and family. And what happens next, I love. Let me read it to you. Jesus heard that they had thrown the blind man out of the synagogue. And when he found him, he said, do you believe in the Son of Man? Who is he, sir? The man asked. Tell me so that I may believe in him. Jesus said, you have now seen him. In fact, he is the one speaking with you. Then the man said, Lord, I believe, and he worshipped him. Do you see what Jesus did? He'd already healed the blind man, but when he heard he'd been chucked out of the synagogue, he went and found him again. I love that. I love that about Jesus, that he cares about us, not just our physical needs, but also our social and mental needs. But the blind man's response is really simple. When Jesus says he is the Son of God, he believes in him and he worships. It doesn't matter that these clever Pharisees thought they knew better and were mean to him. He just stuck with what he knew and trusted Jesus. What about us? There might be clever people telling us it's stupid to trust Jesus. And they might be mean to us as a result, like the Pharisees were mean to that blind man. We don't have to be clever about it. We just have to be like him and simply worship Jesus. I'm going to pray that we would do that now. Dear Lord, thank you so much for the fun we can have. I pray we'll be having fun, firing elastic bands in a safe way. And thank you so much for Jesus, that he cares about us. He cares about that blind man. He didn't just heal him. He found him and sought him out once he'd been chucked out of the synagogue. Lord, I pray that we would be like that blind man. And despite what other people say or even do, Lord, help us to trust you and worship you. Amen.